Oh, look, the mixture's on the thing now.
All right, perfect. Good to know. I found the notes. They were lost to oblivion, but I managed to pull them up.
Let's go ahead and test. Testing the thingy.
All right, this is my audio test. 1, 2, 3. How do I look?
It seems fine.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no, I've already, last night was going into overlay stuff, just looking at like what's out there.
Right.
Like what's free, what costs, whatever.
Right.
And then finding some of the free stuff and seeing how easy it is to change it and stuff like that.
Right.
So I've just been trying to get
a feel for what
get a feel for it, because like I'm trying to make one for right now for just like streaming games and stuff.
Right.
Whatever, I just want to do that.
Right.
Ideally, I'd like to have one that looks the same for both the show and for the game content or whatever else we're doing. That's ideally what I want.
Yeah, but the one that I've been wanting, the one that I want, I don't know. We'll do it
stylistically.
Stylistically,
that's what I mean.
right. You want the consistency.
I don't think that it's you can put little boxes off to the side.
Right. That would seem very. That would seem very weird.
It's like the color's the same.
Yeah.
You make little notches in the thing. The notches are the same on the thing.
Right.
That kind of little shit.
Yep. No, that completely makes sense.
Yeah. No. So that's what I've been going through, trying to find ones that could possibly function as both things.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna be running right into the Square Enix conference, but oh well.
We can watch it afterwards.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm ready whenever you are.
Let me give this a listen, just in case, but it should be fine.
No,
his cousin's moving into town, so he's taking her apartment shopping. Mm-hmm. I think it was.
I was like sitting there waiting for Hector to come. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it looks good enough.
All right, perfect.
Sounds good enough, I guess. I should listen to it.
Look at that, on time. 7:31. We're doing all right.
Yeah, 7:30-ish.
Yeah, that's what happens when Hector doesn't show up. We just get in there and get it done.
Yeah.
Calling you out, Hector, right at the beginning.
Already.
This is going to be some
we're already live.
This is going to be some happy news with a lot of disappointing news this week, unfortunately.
Where did the fucking thing go? Ah, there it is. I forgot I looked at the email for a second.
All right. I think we're ready to do this thing.
Oh, I need to go to... No, that's fine. I can see everything from here, I guess.
All right, cool. It's time to see what's new in the world of nerdy news. Adventurers, gear up for an all-new episode. Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the show. We are the Surly Nerd, your one-stop shop for geek news that might have flown under your radar over the last week. I'm your host, James, and sitting across from me is the producer of this fine show, Tony.
Hey.
Hey, we got it on the first time this week.
Yeah, we did. And it's because we're Hector free.
It's exactly what it is. And Hector's out this week. He has some family things to do. But here's kind of the weird thing about this. We've got a very unique and different episode for you guys today. So if you're new to our show...
Kind of like half an episode.
Yeah, if you're new to our show, well, welcome. This week what we're doing is we're going to be, in the episode that you're hearing right now, are going to be talking about everything that is not E3 related that happened in the news, because there was a lot of like geeky stuff that happened that was not at E3.
It wasn't video games.
It wasn't video games.
There's other things to talk about.
There will be video games in this episode, just so you know.
Yes, and we will be talking about E3 on another show that we will be recording specifically about E3 on Wednesday.
Yes, there will be a live stream on twitch.tv/thesurlynerd.
And everything else that has live streaming.
7 p.m. CST is when we're going to be doing it.
We're going 7?
Okay. Yeah, we're going a little bit early because we want to have enough time to be able to cover everything that's going on at E3. E3 is absolutely crazy. We do have so much to talk about. But for this episode, we're going to dial it back a little bit. We're going to talk about the other stuff that's going on. With that in mind, don't forget that you can keep connected with us through thesurlynerd.com, where you can follow us on all social media platforms and even donate to the show. Every penny donated goes right back into the show that we make for you every week. With all that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, adventurers of all ages, it's time for The Prelude. Hello,
Are you out of breath? Like, it felt like you were out of breath there at the end.
My throat was dry.
Okay, because it's like, are you dying?
No,
like,
no.
You're trying to finish this. I'm like, do I need to jump in here?
My throat was dry. I'm not going to keel over just in the middle of the show. But hi, everybody. Yeah,
How's it going?
We're gonna have
we were on time. I hit live before 7:30, so we were already streaming. We just weren't actively recording the podcast. Those are two separate things.
Yeah. So yeah,
In my
Wednesday,
mind.
7 p.m. CST. We're doing a big E3 blowout. We're going to be talking about anything and everything E3 related. I've got a lot of feelings. Not all of them are positive, but we'll see it when we get there. So
Yeah. I give you my general overview I've been thinking about so
Yeah.
far has been
you're really excited for next year's E3?
not having Sony and Nintendo there. It makes E3 kind of sad.
It does a little bit, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Though, like it's nice to have that.
Like
actual
I love the
rivalry.
Microsoft one, but like
Yeah.
having that the rivalry, having that it just felt more. It just felt more
Right.
because there was more.
There was definitely a lot more. And I'm going to disagree with you on the Microsoft press conference, but we will get into that.
thanks for the follow.
Because trust me, I do want to talk about Phantasy Star Online for 3 hours, which is what I'm going to be doing on Wednesday when we do the show.
Yeah, I figured as much. How long has that game been out for?
2012 is when the game came out.
Okay,
So-
it's been only in Japan.
Yeah, it's only been in Japan, so it's going to be releasing here, free to play with all its updates and everything.
Okay,
So I'm
and it's
super
coming
excited.
first to Xbox.
First to Xbox, yeah, but it is going to be cross-platform. It's going to be one of those
Nice.
titles, so that'll be pretty awesome.
Really, they didn't really bring that up at all.
It was in the trailer.
It was in the trailer, but they didn't like tout it at all.
They didn't really even celebrate it. It was just like, oh, okay,
You're finally getting that thing. Are you happy?
right.
Are you happy
like,
now?
Like nobody on the internet cared about this but me. Like I just like threw my notebook across the room and I was just like, God damn it, Phantasy Star is finally coming to the States. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, again, Wednesday, 7 p.m. CST. Catch us on all of our streaming platforms. We're going to do a big E3 blowout episode. But we have a lot more stuff to talk about. So why don't we jump into that, Tony?
Yes, let's go into the prelude. Once I click mute and then record. Prelude.
All right, this is the prelude. This is what we've been doing with ourselves this week, what we've been playing, what we've been watching, what's been occupying our free time. Tony, tell me you've done something fun other than E3.
Well, I mean, E3's been interesting, but a new season of Destiny launched, so I've been playing the fuck out of that.
Yeah, have you been watching anything that's not Destiny related? I know between Destiny and E3, that's really a lot of your week right there.
Yeah, that is. There's a lot that happens right just in that. Billions just finished wrapping up. It's third season. Great show on Showtime. I highly recommend everybody watch it. Again, it's not for everybody because it's dealing with billionaires and politics and lawyers and shit. And it's very much
It's a very niche show.
it's a very niche show that I think is brilliant because it's underhanded backstabbing stuff and how it's fun. I enjoyed the hell out of this season. It was great stuff. Let's see. Fuck, I did a lot. I watched a lot
you know
of
what you did
things.
this week that you can talk about, and we want to keep this spoiler free for our audience who's listening to us. But
Yep.
the Black Mirror did come out this week.
Oh yes, I forgot about. I watched so many things. I literally forgot what I'd watched.
Yeah, Black Mirror was probably the highlight of my week to kind of jump into. 3
At first,
episodes.
I've only all right. So I technically have watched 2 of them, meaning the second one I fell asleep during and have to go back and watch again. The first one, holy fuck, that was so good.
Yeah, if you had told me that they were going to do a Black Mirror episode about fighting games, I would have been like, I can't imagine this is going to be very good. I walked away from that feeling that it had so much more impact because it had such a very interesting conversation that opens up about how a lot of males repress themselves, about how we fail to open up to each other as people. What we can do with an online existence that we couldn't do before.
That's one of the things I thought was interesting. You can personify yourself differently in an online situation because you're not seeing people, you're not hearing your real voice.
Yeah, so you
can be someone
you
different.
can do that. You get the ability to explore other gender roles and maybe feel more comfortable than you do in your own skin in a virtual environment.
We are slowly explaining the entire plot of a show that we said we're not going to
Right,
spoil.
we're not going to spoil it, but man, it is so. I think it's so much more important than I first gave it credit for.
I thought that was going to be the episode. I was like, oh, whatever, and then first third, I was like, oh shit, no, this is good.
Yeah. In fact, I think that it is the standout episode of this season. I did watch the other 2. I don't know if they really hold up to that first one. The third one's almost a meta commentary, but that's something you'll have to watch to
Something
I'm sure.
Vipers. I can't remember the title of it. Something Vipers.
It's Striking Vipers X or something like that.
Yeah.
Striking Vipers is the first episode of Black
was so
Mirror.
good. So good.
Highly recommend Black Mirror if you haven't watched it. You don't have to watch them in order. Obviously, they're just an anthology show. I've been touting this show since it was only airing in the UK. I'm that guy. So definitely go out and watch Black Mirror if you haven't. Honestly, I know that we have a Twilight Zone right now, but it is the best Twilight Zone that we've had in a long time before Jordan Peele stuff came out.
I still need to, I'm gonna get to watching that. Yeah, it's
Other than that, like that's really all I did this week because we had a lot of E3. Like I said, we're doing a separate E3 talk on Wednesday. Other than that, like I've dropped like 50 more hours into BattleTech, and I'm not going to bore you guys with the details of me doing that.
No,
so
that actually sounds more boring than Destiny.
Yeah,
to
it
me.
would be absolutely very turn-based, very boring conversation. Just know that I'm that deep into BattleTech where I've racked up about 50 hours since the last time we've done the show.
That's good. I mean, like, you're playing something you enjoy.
Definitely have gotten my money's worth off of that. So
Yeah.
highly do recommend it if you're into that kind of turn-based strategy stuff. I guess that's everything that we have for the prelude this week. We're going to take a small break. When we come back, we'll be going into our news roundup for the week, which is the weekly raid.
I literally can't remember what I watched.
That's fine.
I watched the Massey Williams movie where she has cancer last night. So that's a happy movie to fall asleep.
Yeah,
to.
I saw that like there's a whole iPhone marketplace thing. They're condensing all of their. I forget what they're doing. Like iTunes got destroyed or something, and then they've torn it down and broken it into pieces. But yeah, Doom. Doom is great to see on stage at E3. That was absolutely fantastic. We're gonna have a lot of choice words for the Bethesda section when we get to it on Wednesday. If you're gonna look at it, if you want us to get a little bit angry and ranty, it's gonna be on Wednesday when we talk about Bethesda, because Bethesda was a hot fucking mess. I was watching some of those streamers talk about it today, and they're like, "Oh man, the Bethesda conference was so good," and I'm like, "I don't think you were watching."
Were you watching the same thing that we watched? Because that was not good.
Not. Like, did you watch the Ubisoft one today?
No, I have yet.
Oh, cool.
Watched
Yeah,
those.
so Uplay is now also going to feature a $14.99 play everything pass as well. So that's
Are
going
there
to be
games on Uplay that we actually want to play?
I assume that Ubisoft has a lot of them.
Okay,
All right,
that's cool and all, but like, there's way more companies on the Xbox One.
that is true. All right, so we got a lot
It's
to talk
literally
about.
Netflix versus the CBS streaming service. Like, cool, CBS, you're trying, but there's this thing called Netflix and Hulu that have everybody else's stuff.
Hot take about Double Fine. Tony is a giant Psychonauts fan. Honestly, our very brief
Throwing
opinion.
money at Double Fine makes me happy.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
just like, take Microsoft money, throw it at Double Fine, and they can make more stuff.
Let Tim Schafer make whatever the fuck he wants at this point.
Yeah, I'm
Just
not a fan of
throw it
all of his games, mostly because like
in. It is cool though that
I don't like the turn-based one, but the story was so fucking cool. I enjoyed the story, but I didn't like the gameplay.
Really enjoy the fact that Double Fine, even though they're now with Microsoft, and we will definitely have to bring this up again on Wednesday, Psychonauts is still coming out to every platform.
Yep.
Microsoft didn't come in and say like,
No,
there's no restriction.
Even the other companies, the people that made Hellblade,
Yeah.
their game that they showed, they already said that that was going out on multiple systems.
Yeah.
It will say Microsoft Studios in front of it now.
Yes.
But they will still release it on PC and PS4 because that's what they said they're originally going to do. They're not taking back any of those deals. They're just saying going forward, there's a good chance that most of these companies will be making exclusives for us now and not for everybody else as well.
Yeah.
Unless, they decide to say, fuck it, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to make money off PlayStation as well, so fuck you.
Yeah. But yeah, were you thinking of Massive Chalice when we were talking about Double
Yes,
Fine?
Massive Chalice. That's
yeah,
also...
see,
that's a game. I love the story. I thought the story was really cool, but I just could not get into the gameplay.
Yeah.
Because it's a game type that you enjoy.
It's my favorite
and
type
that
of
I
game.
hate.
Yeah, and it also has like Kane from Legacy of Kane in it. It's like the
Yeah.
voiceover narrative. I'm like, you're hitting all of my buttons.
What was
right
that
here.
alien show that he was in? It was
The
so
Neighbors?
Good. Yeah, The Neighbors. God, that show needed to stick around for like 2 more seasons.
I like that we're talking about xCloud in chat, considering Microsoft didn't talk about what the fuck it is whatsoever. But we'll get into that on Wednesday.
Everybody's happy that xCloud is a thing that will come out in the future, and then they'll tell us what it does.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's jump into the actual news. We got some
We're
heavy
really just
stuff.
spoiling for
We're spoiling the whole Wednesday episode for you guys just because you came into chat and asked us questions. But hey, you're in here talking to us, so we're happy about that.
Which I think tomorrow I'm gonna start streaming tomorrow.
Cool.
I think, yeah, to play some Destinies.
Cool. All right, well, let's jump in.
The weekly raid.
Hey, adventurers, welcome back to the show. This is the Weekly Raid. It is our news roundup for the week. All right, I'm going to start us off with some happy news because we only know it's going to get worse from here.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely gonna.
So
it's,
to
it's,
kick
it's,
things
it's
off-
the show's the Surly Nerd. It's gonna get bad.
It's going to get dark really fast. So, in happy news, we found out literally today, Netflix has renewed Love, Death, and Robots for a second season. If you have not watched Love, Death, and Robots, my God, you need to get on Netflix and watch this.
That is so odd. I really felt that like it was something that would exist as just a series of shorts as an experiment to try out. You let new storytellers come in and express, their interesting ideas about those three subjects.
Yeah.
Combined together, and I thought it was gonna be a one-time thing. I
Yeah.
did not expect. I mean, I know a lot of people liked it, and then it's gotten a lot rave reviews, and people have been watching the fuck out of it. I think primarily because we talk about it so much.
Probably everybody that listens to the show.
But I just didn't
obviously already
expect a second season. I didn't think that it would be something that they would be interested in pursuing because it's felt like such a indie idea.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with Love, Death, Robots, please take some time. It's only about 3 hours long. It's on Netflix. It is a series of animated shorts that are all future forward, very much like Black Mirror is. They're anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes. They deal with these three subjects, either love, death, or robots, or all three.
Or all three.
Or all three. And they just let these writers and artists go crazy, just like do whatever within the space of 15 to 30 minutes. And one of the shorts literally feels like you're watching StarCraft, like in the best possible way.
It feels. I mean, it's odd that they're only 15 to 30 minutes long, or even shorter than that in some cases. And it feels like you've watched this entire journey.
Both Tim Miller and David Fincher are part of this project.
Yes.
So, some wacky stuff is going to happen when those two get involved and do things. But yeah, this is so awesome. I am a big fan of it. I think more people need to go out and watch Love, Death, Robots. Seriously, I want it to get more than just a second season. I want this to keep going indefinitely if they can.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. But,
Okay, I won't be that extreme about it, but
that's a little extreme.
I would like it to go on for a while because there are a lot of talented writers and artists out there that could do some great stories in that space.
No, that's as long as the quality stays as high as it is right now. I am perfectly happy with every couple years getting more in this. I don't need it every month.
Chat wants to know if it's as good as Black Mirror. I would say that it is, but it's hard to compare the two because they're very different.
Well, while Black Mirror is generally a deconstruction of our modern electronic lives, Love, Death, and Robots is in general more science fiction forward.
Yeah.
Thinking about the future and what types of stories you can tell.
Yeah,
in an entirely sci-fi landscape.
I know that I consistently date myself with this reference, but if you've ever read the Heavy Metal magazine or saw the movie Heavy Metal,
it's more akin to that.
Very akin to those things. It's almost a spiritual successor in some ways to the old Heavy Metal movie. So it's definitely worth seeing, and we're getting more of it. So super excited for that.
Yep.
Now, with all the happy news out of the way, let's jump into the bad stuff. So DC Universe canceled Swamp Thing. That was the thing that happened.
But when we found out why, it made complete sense.
Right. So here's the whole situation about it. So Swamp Thing just aired its second episode. Everybody on the internet has been loving it. They say, you know what, this DC Universe thing, we finally have a reason to pick it up and buy it. We're going to drop down our subscription costs. Mm-hmm. Watching Swamp Thing is like watching a beautifully told horror movie. James Wan is the executive producer. He did the Conjuring movies. He did Insidious. He did almost everything.
He's done so many
Aquaman,
things.
He's done everything.
Fast and Furious.
But so everybody's getting on board with Swamp Thing, and then out of nowhere, they're like, by the way, we're nixing Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
And
it literally second episode hadn't aired yet.
Hadn't even aired yet.
And they're like, and we're already canceling this.
Right. And so it took a lot of digging around for a while to figure out what was going on about this because there was conflicting reports. Some people were saying it was an on-set problem. It was a producer problem. Really, the reason that Swamp Thing got canceled was money.
Yep.
Basically, the state of North Carolina promised a kickback or the tax exemptions.
Yeah, it was tax exemption. So basically the company was going to spend $80 million in North Carolina making this thing. And then the state was going to be like, well, here's $40 million back because you spent all this money here.
Right.
And they forgot to put that paperwork through.
Right. They gave them $14 million back.
Yeah, they were like, hey, we need that 40. And they're like, we've got 14 or 18 or something like that. And they're like, cool, not enough, canceling show. Not filming here.
Right.
And so the rest of us going, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, and the internet
maybe move to a different state.
Yeah, they collectively lost its shit at that point. I mean, even James Wan was writing about it on Twitter going I don't understand what's happening here.
Yeah, it's just clerical error caused a great thing to go away.
Right. And so people are trying to fight it. They're saying we need to find a way to save it. Obviously it's already finished filming its first season, and everybody's eating it up as it comes out. They're saying this is one of the best just horror things to come along in a while, and for it to be canceled over a fucking clerical error just kind of has people really pissed off.
Oh, it's so dumb.
But the bigger problem here isn't just in the Swamp Thing cancellation. There was some more news that started coming out this last week that the DC Universe itself, the subscription service that DC has been putting out, is actually currently being reevaluated by AT&T and Time Warner Media.
Yeah, because they're the overall kind of owners.
They are
of
the
this
overseers of the DC Universe, as well as other things. And what's going on in the background with that, and what's leading us to where we are with these things possibly being canceled, like even Doom Patrol, which is very popular, being canceled, is because
Hector, while he's not here, I imagine is still talking about it right now to someone else.
Absolutely, that's
So
all
he
he
hasn't
talks
shut
about.
the fuck up about it in weeks now.
But so what Time Warner is trying to do is Time Warner is instead looking to create possibly their own subscription service, a la a Hulu, a la an HBO Go, any of those things, using what they own. HBO is actually under that banner, by the way.
They are, but I think that they've made enough money to where they can go, cool, you might own us, but we're keeping our shit separate.
Right. So the long and short of it is that they're trying to figure out, are we going to create our own Hulu or Netflix type service with all these other channels that we actually own? So they've got the DC Universe thing, and they're kind of looking at it the way that people look at, older people who read comic books. They're like, that's the kids pool thing. Mm-hmm. We can just nix that. We can just cancel DC.
Yeah, that's not interesting. It's not making. It's honestly, it's not making a lot of money right now.
But they're just looking at it and they're saying, oh well, that's just comic books for comic book people. That's not really in line with the whole subscription service that we're doing.
Well, yeah, because they're still looking back in the day where they were like, okay, well, you need to have your NBC, you need to have your Fox News, you got to have all these things in your channel package, so you make an online cable company is what they want to make.
That's what they're trying to do.
They're trying to make an online cable company,
right?
And we're like, cool, we tried that already. It's called Hulu. It works, and we already have that.
Right.
We have zero reason for you to make your own.
The biggest problem with this argument that I see kind of going forward is that if they're kind of viewing DC Universe as the kids pool thing for kids and we're going to get rid of it, they're not looking towards what Disney's about to do with Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Because Disney Plus is basically, it's like everything Disney, but also everything Marvel.
Yep.
And it's poised to become a titan when it comes out. Like,
I mean, look at the last 11 years of film history.
Marvel.
Right. Hands down, Marvel. And to think that they're going to show up and make their own online streaming service and not knock it out of the fucking park.
Right.
You're not looking at the future then.
Yeah. And so it's a really sad time for these DC shows, which, yes, they started rough with Titans, and Titans didn't have very favorable reviews.
I cannot bring myself to watch it.
But Doom Patrol has become, it's been picking up word of mouth. And Swamp Thing got just giant critic acclamates the moment that it was launched, saying you need to, if there is a reason to buy the DC Universe, this is the reason right here is this. And between Swamp Thing getting canceled and them trying to nix the DC Universe, I'm like, man, you need to go sell Swamp Thing to Cinemax or something. You just do it.
I came up with, so we were talking about this yesterday, and my idea is because Disney is going with the making all the Marvel stuff available only on the Disney Channel,
right,
or the Disney Plus, or whatever the fuck it's called. So Marvel or Netflix isn't going to be making any more Marvel movies. Or Marvel series. What they could do is make DC series. There's already a couple really good ones. They just pick those up and start making those.
Grab Constantine off the CW and make a Netflix show out of it.
Yeah, there you go. Go with Constantine. Keep Doom Patrol. Keep Swamp Thing. Cancel that other shitty one with the teenagers that they're not
Titans.
Teenagers. Yeah, that's fucking awful. Get rid of that. And then go make Netflixized versions of this shit.
If Hulu is going to have all the Disney Marvel stuff along with Disney Plus,
Yeah.
Netflix, get on that DC train.
Yeah, and get on the fucking DC train. You did some great stuff with the Marvel TV shows that we liked. We liked Luke
They already
Cage.
have an agreement with the CW.
Yeah, why not bring that in? Why not bring the DC universe into Netflix? Again, cancel Titans. Nobody wants that.
Right.
Keep the other two. Those are
Right.
good. and go from there. Fucking, they've got
Look, the DC
cool
universe,
animation stuff
the DC
too.
universe shows are like making pancakes. All right, the first one never turns out good.
Yeah,
It's everything
no,
after
you're
that.
getting the temperature right. You put too much butter in. It's all fucked up.
Yeah, that's what Titans was. It was just your first failed waffle or
Weirdly,
pancake.
yeah, no, you always burn the first one. It comes out way too dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Titans,
Titans.
way too dark.
Way too dark. That's not what anybody wanted out of a Titans show. Did none of you watch
It
the
is a
cartoon?
failed pancake of a television show.
So it is a sad week for nerds because just everything was being canceled. Things that we didn't even know were in production got canceled this week, and we only found out after the fact. In fact, this week we found out that there was a StarCraft shooter that was 2 years in development.
Okay, I mean that's could be considered a long time,
Right.
especially when you're throwing around StarCraft money.
Right. So you have a StarCraft shooter that's been in development at Blizzard for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Pretty far along in the process. They're doing all right
you
with it.
probably got a good basis of the story and good working worlds at that point.
And so what we're hearing from the rumor mill is that everybody that was on the project for the StarCraft shooter has been removed so that they can work on Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. These are the rumors that are kind of coming out of it
I mean, we knew
now.
eventually there's going to be another Overwatch. There just has to be,
Right.
Because technology is going to change.
Right.
You're going to make a better. You're going to make a better product.
So-
and Diablo. I mean, come on. We know
My
there's
first question
Diablo.
is, why is it always StarCraft that gets the shit end of the stick on this?
You know
Every
what?
time, like,
I get it. You love the StarCraft, but Diablo also gets shit on all the time.
Diablo
Look
gets
at that. Does StarCraft have a stupid mobile game that's coming out that's supposed to be, oh, look, here's the next Diablo? And everybody goes, no, that's not the next Diablo. That's a shitty cell phone game.
Okay, that's like the one time Diablo had a bad problem.
Oh,
like
except for the 12 years where they just didn't make a Diablo game.
Well, I mean, that's different. That's different than being shit on.
And then
That's
whenever they
being
made that
ignored.
sequel to Diablo 2 that wasn't even made by Blizzard and it was fucking weird and bad.
Oh, you're talking about the Diablo 1 sequel.
Was that, yes, the Diablo 1 one,
That
not Diablo
just
2.
recently this week got released on Good Old Games called Hellfire, the expansion pack for Diablo.
It was so bad. Diablo gets shit on. Like StarCraft, I get it. It's the
I
bastard
don't see
brother
how
of
you
Warcraft.
could say that StarCraft gets shit on less than Diablo. Like StarCraft has had so many games. Like the history of StarCraft Ghost alone feels like novels. The fact that game got like scrapped 3 times. and
Okay,
rebuilt.
here I'm gonna decide this argument for both of us. We like things that Blizzard has made. Unfortunately, they like fucking us with the things that they have made.
They really do. Like
We
come
both are
on,
very
guys.
passionate about some things that we know the other one is right for being mad about as well.
Like, yes, am I excited that Blizzard wants to be focusing and working on Diablo 4? Absolutely. Like, I want more Diablo in my life. My girlfriend and I just rolled up new seasonal characters this last week. We play Diablo. We love it. But seriously, every time there's a really cool StarCraft project, it gets like most of the way into development, and they're like, well, we're just going to go ahead and
I
just
don't know.
scrap that.
You think Blizzard could actually function making 2 first-person shooters?
I don't know.
I don't think they could. And I think that they would implode as a company. I mean, the reason why StarCraft worked is because they just took Warcraft and put different voice lines and animations on
Right.
an existing platform.
Right.
That was it. So you had those games were too similar, which is why they can't exist at the same time.
I'm also one of the reasons
And then you have Diablo, different thing, and then whatever Overwatch was that became Overwatch.
Project Ares, I believe, is
Yeah, it was like their lanes game.
Yeah.
And like I don't think that they can actually function making the same type of game in multiple things because they get confused.
That's why Warcraft just went to World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
and
they
then had
can't do
StarCraft.
and then StarCraft can come back because they made World of Warcraft and then they're like, cool, we're not doing RTSs for this
I think
because
one of the more fascinating
we don't
parts
know
about
how.
this is that they brought up this concept they're working on Overwatch 2. I know that I talked about it a little bit more on the show in the past, where I don't think that an Overwatch 2 is necessary. At least at this point in time, what they could do is they could get people together to craft a very well thought out single player experience that you could sell at retail for like $40. That becomes the
like the story of Overwatch.
right.
That would be interesting.
That was what you would get is you'd buy a story pack add on for $30-$40.
I would like a story pack out on just in general for
Right.
Overwatch because I like the story of Overwatch.
Because I mean, we've been talking about the future of games like Overwatch as we've been talking about these loot boxes and about how the government's starting to try and crack down on edition.
I think
loot
that's why one of the reasons
boxes.
why they're looking towards making a Overwatch 2 is to remove loot boxes, because right now it's so ingrained into the economy of the game
Right.
that whenever they did have to take it out of countries, like I think Belgium was like, no, get rid of that. You can't
they've
put this
already-
in here.
they've already passed those
and
laws.
it fucked the game up, and it didn't make any sense. So they have to make a new game that doesn't have loot boxes,
Yeah.
and that fundamentally will require making a new game
Yeah, I can
because
see
the
it.
XP system is entirely based around loot boxes.
Right. I don't know. It's definitely a complicated issue that's for people above our pay grade. But seriously, Blizzard, stop canceling StarCraft games. Like, please. Like,
Or,
I don't
or
ask-
just never let us know that you're working on
Right,
them.
just don't tell us. Don't tell us that you guys were working on these things, because then we just get angry. It's like EA in those Star Wars games all over again. Like, there's all these Star Wars
Save
games.
Save that for Wednesday.
so
Save that
angry
for
about
Wednesday. We'll get to that on Wednesday.
All right. So over the last
E3 episode.
over the last few weeks leading up to E3, there's been a lot of announcements concerning the World of Darkness. This is a tabletop / LARP system that's been adapted into various video games such as Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. So we know that Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is coming out.
Yep.
And that we know that there's a Werewolf the Apocalypse game set in the same universe that's
Yep.
coming out. We found out that there was another vampire title being worked on by, I believe, Big Bend Interactive. That was also going to be another Vampire the Masquerades game that's going to be coming out sometime of the next year. So that's 3 World of Darkness titles that we're possibly going to be seeing over the next year.
They are like throwing that license around like whatever they want. Like everybody comes to them and you're like, cool, make it. Cool, make it.
Right.
They don't give a fuck about the like. Honestly, do they give a fuck about the quality? Because I mean, they're just throwing like
Well,
they're
it's
letting
Paradox.
anybody
I mean,
join on
Paradox
this.
owns the World of Darkness, so
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to care because they're a video game studio before they are a tabletop RPG company. So that's going to be a big thing for them. But I think that with 5th edition just getting released, what they're really trying to do is push Vampire the Masquerade to the popularity that it had in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I don't know. Are we that angsty as a society to be able to do
Have
this?
you walked outside?
I mean, no, but like we're way too centralized on playing on our phones now. We're still angsty, but we're angsty in that making quips on Twitter, and not angsty in that I'm going to hang around my friends and pretend to be a vampire.
Well,
Like, I
first
think-
off, you should always do that.
I mean, sometimes I do play pretend. Sometimes it's in my head. It's a whole thing.
So-
we're not that show.
Right, we're definitely not that show. So we have 3 announcements of World of Darkness related games over the last
It's a
few
lot
weeks.
compared to
And-
the history of the one game that came out before.
And fun fact, over the last week, a 4th one got announced.
What? No,
It's going to be called Vampire the Masquerade: The Coteries of New York. I believe,
change that name. Change that name. I get why they call it that, but like, it's no one's gonna like that. Title.
So the company is Draw Distance. It's going to be working on it, and what we're hearing is it's going to be on both the PC and the Nintendo Switch. That's a weird combination.
You know what? Switch players are very angsty and gothic. They definitely need to have
absolutely.
access to
every person I've seen that I've ever played a Zelda game is definitely super gothic. and
Oh
angsty.
my god, they super are actually.
So what this game is, we don't know a ton about it. What we do know is that you're going to be playing a newly created vampire, obviously, and it's going to be more of a Telltale-like experience. So it's super narrative driven. I don't think it's going to be. Bloodlines is going to be first person actiony. It's going to be a lot of gore. Werewolf is obviously going to be like super brutal and very actiony.
I mean, you're playing a werewolf. You need to like rip things from limb to limb.
Exactly. So
And
this
if you're not, what the fuck are you doing?
This
being a
sounds like
werewolf?
it's going to be a much more. This actually sounds a little bit more like it's going to be a lot more like what it's like to actually LARP Vampire the Masquerade, which is you're interacting with the other vampires.
It's
There's
weird that you can
political,
turn-
There's political intrigue.
Yeah, but it's basically a point and click adventure game. It's honestly Telltale games are point and click
Right,
adventure
yeah,
games.
absolutely.
When it comes down to their core, it just sometimes you're like press X a lot.
Yeah.
Like okay, I'll do that. Now. But in general, it's just point and click, decide your own adventure, and it's fun. And it was brilliant whenever they first came out with them because of the type of gaming and the games that have been spawned from out of Telltale's success, like Life is Strange,
Yeah.
entirely exists because Telltale existed,
Right.
and it started telling same kind of storytelling but differently. I like that, even though Telltale it sucks that they're gone, has inspired people to come up with new, interesting ways to tell episodic adventure, point and click adventure games.
Oh, absolutely.
But than we ever had before.
I mean, when you think about the history of Telltale Studios themselves, what you have is a bunch of people who were told the genre of game that you want to make is dead.
yeah, it died a long time ago.
Right. Like there's nobody who will buy into a point and click adventure game.
Yep.
And they were like, I bet we could figure it out. And the moment they had success with like a Sam and Max, I mean, like it was just the gloves came
Shit,
off.
whenever they did the same thing with Back to the Future,
Yep.
and they made a fucking great Back to the Future game.
Yeah. I mean, it's very surprising. I think that we're going to have a really great documentary on Telltale someday when everybody can actually talk about the history of what happened at the company and how
It's still too fresh right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people would get their new jobs taken away from them if
Yes.
they did something like that.
We gotta wait till everybody's gone and done 3 new jobs, then we can do the documentary.
Right, but with the games like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 and with Werewolf the Masquerade being more action-centric games, I'm
Is
not
it called
oppo-
Werewolf the Masquerade?
No, it's Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Okay, sorry, you said Werewolf the Masquerade.
Sorry.
I was like, wait, did they change the name? I'm really
No,
confused
it's
now.
Werewolf the Apocalypse, sorry.
Are they merging stories together? I don't like how they're doing this now.
With those games being very action forward, the idea of something that does resonate in a very heavier storytelling way, that speaks to me because I did love LARPing Vampire the Masquerade. And when you're doing that, there's not a ton of combat if you're doing it right in Vampire the Masquerade. It is very role play centric. It's about political intrigue and backstabbing and all that good stuff.
Yeah, no, it adds it's the RPG part of it, right?
Yeah.
It's the role playing game that we all enjoy, and it seems more games are going towards kind of this role playing aspect because it seems like something we've been missing out on culturally. Yeah. Like the West hasn't made good role playing games in a while.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking back at like the original Xbox and even the beginning of the 360, the West was making some really good RPGs. Mm-hmm. And
when we're talking about RPGs,
we're
we're not just talking about you get experience points and level up. We're talking about like Planescape. We're talking about Baldur's Gate, like the original.
Well, I'm
Fallout.
also talking about just like math systems that require you to kind of like MMO things and come up with like your quest, your ideal quest layout, so you can actually gain the most experience points. So,
Sure, yeah.
because that is RPG shit, is dealing with micromanaging everything in your account.
Yeah, but I mean,
but also the way the world is told, the way you interact with the story environment and the story elements.
Mm-hmm. There's just very few RPGs out there that really have the full immersive RPG experience because it's hard to emulate what it is ostensibly you and your friends sitting around a table and telling a story to one another.
Yeah, and unlike the traditional D&D or Pathfinder or even the vampire or werewolf stuff, where you come up with your own story, these are people telling you a story within that world and within that rule system. Mm-hmm. And I like that we're kind of going back towards those elements. Yeah. Which is really cool, because we've had enough first-person shooters for a while. Mm-hmm. We've had enough of the current state of the gaming world. I'm kind of just bored with.
Right.
So maybe some of these coming along, we'll kind of kick it around a little bit and we'll get some change.
Yeah.
Because right now, honestly, my pre-E3 thing is I'm kind of bored of all this shit.
Well, we'll get into that on Wednesday.
Yeah, so that's for Wednesday, though.
That's for Wednesday. All right, so we're going to move on from Vampire the Masquerade, but we're still going to keep things dark here for a minute. We found out this week that there is a new horror anthology series that's going to be coming to the CW starting in August.
All right.
This new horror
We're a
series,
fan of the anthologies.
Yeah, so of course, we are giant horror anthology fans on this show. If you've spent any time around horror Twitter, people who enjoy looking at creepy stuff on Twitter, one of the more popular hashtags you can come across is 2-sentence horror stories. It is exactly what it sounds like. Even Stephen King has gotten on this train of writing the occasional 2-sentence horror story. So what they're going to be doing essentially with this new horror anthology series on the CW is they're going to be taking these 2-sentence horror stories and just making an entire episode based off of this. If you can pitch your horror story in 2 sentences, you can get an episode on the CW.
So weirdly, all right, so this is actually one of the things that I follow on. There's a subreddit for story prompts.
Yeah.
And it's literally just basically 2 sentences. They're supposed to prompt a whole story.
Sure.
People actually write stories out of them sometimes. My favorite for the horror ones was many years ago when this idea first kind of started kicking around was the smallest coffins are the heaviest. Mm-hmm. I was remembering that last night watching the movie about somebody having cancer, and just because kids with cancer is always a fun thing to go to bed.
Oh yeah,
to.
definitely.
That's what you should fall asleep to every night. I was just remembering that as a story element, or so as a 2-sentence horror thing.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck, that still sticks with me after this many years.
Still pretty dark.
I really hope they don't make one out of that. That's just that one's that's the one that's just like that's too dark, I think, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean the 2-sentence horror stories are fantastic. The earliest one I ever remember from the internet is obviously the last man on earth sits alone in a room. He hears a knock at the door.
Yeah.
And it's like, yep, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
But it's a really fascinating concept. I mean, we did have We had things like
We had that show. It was called Last Man on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched that. I mean, I stopped a while ago though.
But we've had some really interesting horror things come from the internet recently. Of course, if you have not watched Sci-Fi Channel's Channel Zero, it's been canceled, but the 3 seasons that it's up are brilliant. It's a horror
I think there
anthology.
was 4 seasons.
I think there might have been 4.
I think there's 4 seasons of that. 'Cause
Yeah,
I watched 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched the other 2.
Yeah. But either way, if you have not checked out Channel Zero, you can find it online. Do watch it. Those particular writers and creators have gone on to work on other horror projects. But with that in mind, this is a really cool concept. Now, it's a horror show on the CW, and that always makes me a little bit nervous. I don't feel that a horror show has to be on something like an HBO to be good. I just think that you have to work a little bit harder because you have to work around the limitations of standard network programming, essentially. But I mean, with that being said, I mean, Hannibal was on NBC, and that show was not only super dark but had a lot of gore, and they got away with a lot just being on NBC because of the rules of the network. So, yeah, so CW horror, that's great. Now we're gonna move on to our last topic for the show, and this is kind of a big one. Tony, I'm glad that you're here and you didn't take the day off like Hector did, because we need to talk a little
Honestly,
bit.
if we get down to one person doing the show, we're just not doing a show.
I'll just talk.
You're talking to a
I'll talk
microphone?
to the audience for an hour and a half. That's fine.
Okay.
My ego's big enough for that.
All right.
But I needed you here specifically for this because while it is E3 adjacent, this news did come out beforehand, and I think it's very important for us to kind of deep dive into. And this is going to be about the future of Destiny. What's happening in the world of Destiny that's such a big deal. Now, I try to not talk about Destiny on this show because it just you'll go on for 3 hours.
Yeah, no, I super will. I will get way into the lore and get way lore heavy.
Right.
and everybody, I can just feel everybody's brain shutting down.
Just shutting down the moment we mention it. But it is very important. I think we do need to talk about it. So why don't you get your big Destiny erection out and let's discuss this.
All right. So earlier this week, a Destiny's most recent season started. Season of Opulence, and it was the last one for this year that we knew of. We're like, okay, cool. It's going to end. So the last time they did it this week at Bungie, they said, we're going to talk about what the future of Destiny is going forward on Thursday. We're like, weird that you're doing a launch on a Tuesday, and then Thursday you're going to tell us what the future holds.
Yeah.
And I guess they kind of did, or they needed to, because right before E3, they weren't going to be on E3 at the Sony thing or Activision or anybody because, well, they already left that contract behind. So they decided, like, hey, we're going to do our own little kind of direct thing to the fans. They've done it many times before where they just kind of get a video team together and they do live streams. This one was a bit different because it was very much a studio coming out and saying, hey, remember how we left Activision and Sony behind? Cool. Here's how we're going to handle everything going forward. And they laid out what it's going to happen in September. There's going to be a new expansion coming in September for Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. Everybody expected a Destiny 3 announcement, and they said, no, we're still working on this one.
Right.
Which is cool because they've finally got the game in a good place. So there's a new expansion coming out in September. And they're like, also, we're going to be doing another season pass. Weirdly, without the help of the 2 companies that made the season pass, because those were Activision companies. Mm. So they're going to do it in-house. Hopefully they can hold up. But the kind of like, fuck you to everybody in the gaming industry was like, by the way, we're doing a cross-save. So if you have your accounts, you can just take them wherever the fuck you want now. Mm-hmm. We'll be switching over to...
probably the most requested feature of Destiny.
That or cross-play. It's one or the other.
Right.
And at this point, they're like, cool, cross-save. And they're like, well, what's going to be a bit more interesting than that is seasons are going to be purchasable just by themselves. You want to buy the expansion, you buy the expansion. You want to buy this one season, you buy it. That's all you need. You can buy individual seasons on different systems. Mm-hmm. Welcome to Google Stadia, where you can take this game with you. They said as long as you have Stadia and a controller, you can play Destiny anywhere you have an internet connection.
Right, which means you're done for the rest of your life now.
I mean, we don't know if Destiny 3 is going to have this. I think they're still going to have this, but they came out and said the game is an MMO. Mm-hmm. They explained the pricing structure with you buy what you want and you play it where you want. Right. And you can freely move your characters around wherever. Mm-hmm. The things we don't know specifically is if you buy, let's say, the expansion and the season pass, do you get it on everything or is it just the one system you bought it on? Sure. I'm guessing it's just the one you bought it on. Because, by the way, base all year Destiny 1 year 1 content is coming out as a new game / not a new game. They're just renaming the game. It's called Destiny 2 First Light. Or New Light. That's what it is. New Light, not First Light. First Light's a different thing. New Light, where on Google Stadia, on Steam, on Xbox, on PlayStation, you will have the ability to just go and download and play the entire base campaign and the 2 expansions, plus additional content from the upcoming and current seasons. They said they want to show you just a little bit of what you could get. So if you just buy, like right now in Season of Opulence, everybody, no matter what you do, as long as you have like the base game, you can play part of Season of Opulence. And then this is their testing, like, hey, you play the first couple missions, you spend your first day or so playing new content on a new season, and wouldn't it be cool if you bought into that? You don't have to.
So what's the cost of your base game for Destiny 2?
Okay, so you get the first year and the first 2 expansions for free in September. This is all coming in September. This is not right now.
Got it.
But there was a price drop for the current season and the current expansion. It is $40. Basically, you pay $40 and you get everything up, even what just came out last week. $40. There you fucking go.
Okay.
And then they said in September, the big expansion, because it is going to be a big expansion. It's going to expand the world further than the seasons do. And they said that's going to be $35. And if you want to just go ahead and pre-buy the seasons as a season pass, another $35. Or no, it comes out to $60 altogether.
Okay.
So however much that
Very
is.
reasonably priced.
It's really $60 for a year of content
Right.
that is being updated on a nearly weekly basis. That's a fuckload of content.
So I'm gonna give a compliment and then ask a very harsh question. My compliment being that I applaud Bungie for their dedication to their product, for them really wanting to take the time and effort, and let's just say it, we'll call it what it is, monetary resources to keep this game going well after there's been a lot of negative things that have been said about it in the media. So, kudos to them. I'm very happy they're keeping it going. With that being said, is this enough to reinvigorate the Destiny player base and or drive in new players to Destiny?
Okay, so to spoil a little bit of the Bethesda thing where they said Fallout 76 is being free for a week. They want that influx of players, right? They want to give people a taste. They're giving you a year of fucking content for free on everything. You can make as many accounts as you fucking want. You'd be like, here you go, play. They're giving the game away at this point and saying, if you want to get more cool weapons and more cool loot, join our MMO. And they did state that Destiny is now an MMO.
Right.
It is a action MMO is what they call it, not the open shared world shooter that they previously.
They're
listed
finally
as.
embracing the terminology. That
No,
they should
and you
have.
actually in the Vidoc thing, you actually can, if you pause and go frame by frame and you see what's on their screens, you can actually see that graphs and metrics are a thing you're going to have to pay attention to in the future if you want to min-max the shit out of your character, because that's what they're going to turn it into. They're like, we're adding RPG elements in that you're going to have to actually think about what you're going to dismantle before you dismantle it, because it could affect what you have later.
So let's go back to the topic at hand here, though. I mean, does this reinvigorate the community? I guess
it breathed just like an adrenaline shot to the heart into the community. Everybody watched that because we had a couple of leaks beforehand. Data miners were like, "Oh shit, crossplay is going to be a thing, or cross save is," and everybody's like, "Is it? The icon's not really that good. We don't know what's actually coming. This could just be them fucking with us." And they came out and said, "No, fucking cross save. Go where the fuck you want." Literally, with Google Stadia, you can go wherever the fuck you want.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh shit!" And the community has never been happier and more enthused than I have ever seen. Between the Season of Opulence starting and has gotten pretty much nothing but rave reviews. The way they have the new in-purchase store thing is annoying. They need to fix it again a little bit. It's not there yet. But they did come huge strides in that. The storytelling's come in huge strides, and then they throw on by the way, here's the future of what we're doing for just this one game, not just the franchise, and how much bigger we're going to make everything. You're like, holy shit.
So that really drives to the next question, and the big question that we need to really think about going forward is, will this drive new players into Destiny?
I've kind of never gotten around to answering that, because you've asked it now like 3 times. I think it will. I think that because of it, the base game going for free and the dropping in price of all the additional content, especially the buy what you want and play what you want, that there's nothing holding you back. They specifically mentioned multiple times that you can take a brand new account and buy the most recent season, and within a few hours be raiding with your friends that have been playing for 2 years.
Okay.
That they're like, no, you can just...
And you see that as a net positive,
Yeah,
not a negative.
think about, all right, so I'm not a big MMO player, obviously. I like my shooting aliens in the faces. But things like, you've played World of Warcraft, you played all
I mostly played Final Fantasy.
You've played Final Fantasy, but you've played MMOs.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to, let's say, raid with you in Final Fantasy, the 14 or whatever, I think it's the one right now, right?
Yeah.
How long would it take me from making a base character to doing a raid with you?
It would take a little bit.
Would it take me 3 hours?
No, not at all.
3 days?
Possibly. I mean, you got a lot of gear that you got to get.
Like 3 weeks?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of factors.
So whenever I'm saying like you could go from making a base character and in 3 hours be raiding with your friends at like the most recent raid because they just here's your.
I wasn't
fucking
trying to insult you by asking the question.
No, and that's the reason why I'm saying that it drops the barrier of entry.
Right.
That most MMOs, most hardcore games that are things like Destiny, shared world shooters or whatever, have a barrier to entry in that if you didn't join up day one,
Well, I mean,
you were left behind.
I mean, Anthem's barrier to entry is that it's bad, but that's not.
Yeah, that's just this is because it's a bad game, but also it's very new. So I don't know what the future for Anthem holds because well, they took that page down, and we don't fucking know anymore.
They could pull a Destiny, and it'd be great.
It could be. Warframe has is another game like that. You can't.
I've heard so many good things about Warframe.
I played a little bit of it. I really enjoyed it, but it's a game that you have to grind to get the things to do the things.
Right.
It's not going to be where Bungie said going forward. Like, you buy the content you want to play, you play that, and you can just jump in whenever you want, wherever you want. And they want to get it easier. They want to take it where. Remember back 10 years ago or so when everybody played World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
Like my friends' parents were playing World of Warcraft, and you're like, what the fuck is. Why are you playing Warcraft?
Oh, yeah.
I was a game that I played, and then they made an MMO, and now you're playing it. What the fuck is wrong with you people? They're doing that, but now you could fucking actually have it on your cell phone if you wanted.
Right.
You could take it to anywhere you want. You can jump in at any point in time. You can take breaks and just jump in on the next season. It's only 3 months.
Right.
I mean, and then it's like, what? Maybe going to cost you $10 to jump in.
You're not going to have a whole lot of power creep that's going to keep you behind.
Yeah, and they that's something that they did bring up is... we recently had a bunch of nerfs to things because power creep just became too big of a thing. And you could see it in the game types that they were developing that required you always having your super up and doing things.
Right.
So they had to nerf some shit and bring things back down. So they're reevaluating right now the mechanics of the world and allowing that to I guess just relax a bit so you can feel more powerful later on. So they can bring back that power creep a little bit. But they now know that that's a thing that they have to keep in check because if you just have a delete button on everything, it's not fun. There's multiple supers in the game that you literally go, well, I cast that, cool, I got it back, I cast that, got it back, and you deleted every fucking characters. No, there's no challenge in that
So
anymore.
where do you feel Bungie's approach is in making these changes? Obviously, at the end of the day, they're a business, they've got to make money. Do they think that by making all these positive changes and getting all this kind of positive press about what they're going to be doing about Destiny going forward is going to start generating more revenue for them?
I think so, because the way they just changed their real money store, the Eververse store, it's more about direct purchases. You just buy exactly what you want.
Okay. Something that we have been arguing for
that's
a
what we've
long
been wanting
time.
for a while. They still have the Ingram boxes that you open up and you get them for free just by playing.
Right.
You can buy more of them if you really want. The problem the community had immediately whenever they launched the new store was this season's content for the Eververse store is the things you get for free is the best of year one. So if you played during year one, you already have everything. There's zero reason to get them, but all the new cool stuff costs real money. And you're like, cool. Why couldn't you give us some of the new cool stuff in these boxes as well? Because some of us have already been playing.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's just one of the gripes, but they did switch to such a buy what you want and exactly what you want. Like if you like the new armor set, they have the option to go just buy the whole armor set. There's no waiting a week for that piece to roll around to get it to hope it drops or whatever. No, you just go buy the whole thing. Oh, look, now it's the way I look.
Are you talking about an armor set in the sense of an appearance or a power level? 'Cause
No,
buying into a power
in an
level feels a
appearance.
bit different.
No, it's as an appearance. It does have stats attached to it, but the those stats always suck.
Right.
They never made the Eververse armor actually good. It just looks cool.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the way that it works traditionally in a lot of MMOs that have microtransaction stores. Final Fantasy 14 has, you can buy, there's microtransactions to buy like mounts or things like that. None of these things have
weirdly
game-changing
a lot of those games also have transmog elements to them, right? So you can be like, I love the way this looks. I paid real money for it, but I want to give it the stats, this other stuff, right? They're adding that in.
Okay.
They're adding in the ability to take a armor piece and then put in the bonuses that you want specifically.
That's cool.
And you can actually craft that armor.
So they're really catching up to MMOs from like 5 years ago.
But they're doing it in a first-person shooter.
That's true.
Where you kill aliens. Like, this is not something that's really been done before. I understand.
It's your fetish. Like, I totally...
But it is something that's it's a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
Overall, the community is very positive about these changes, about seeing what the future holds. We asked multiple people, ask once a week. They're like, hey, can you just make sure Destiny 3 is not coming out in the next year? And they never said anything about it. It's just, the community makes these posts going like, hey, push the game back. We're loving what you're doing right now. Right. We will constantly complain and want updates, but we want you to make Destiny 3 the game that it deserves to be. And now with all the changes they're making to Destiny 2, we're like, fuck, are they even going to make a Destiny 3? Because they're just expanding this world so big. And I think that once we reach a storytelling culmination, we will get 3, and that is down the line. They're working on it, but they're years away from announcing.
Well, we now know that Deej, who is a community manager for Destiny, listens to our show.
Yes.
So you can go ahead and just send us an email, Deej. We'd really appreciate knowing.
Or Cosmo or DMGO4. I can never actually say damage.
Look, all we know is that Deej is the one that listens to us. Yes. So that's pretty exciting. That's pretty awesome.
My 3 favorite community managers. I love them so much. They deal with so much shit.
They do, yeah, especially from you. So.
Actually, I don't shit post. If you go to the Bungie's forums, angry shithead people. Mm-hmm. If you go to the Reddit community, much nicer. And then there's actually even a nicer version of that called Low Sodium Destiny. And it's the nicest version of these people.
As somebody who's had a heart attack, you must appreciate Low Sodium Destiny.
Yeah, it's just everybody being like, this is fun.
Okay, so it's been a weird and wacky ride this week. I know that we're wrapping up a little bit earlier than normal. But as I said before...
Thank you for sticking with me dealing with all the Destiny talk. But there's a lot came out in that, and I think I did a decent job explaining it.
Yeah, so on Wednesday, 7 p.m. CST, we're going to be putting together our E3 showcase. We're starting at 7 and going till, I don't know, we're drunk and passed out or something.
Yeah,
we're just going to be talking about
taking Thursday off is what's happening.
All things E3 related. Until then, Tony, where can they find us? Where can they talk to us?
Facebook.com/SillyNerd. Like, share with your friends. Twitch.tv/SillyNerd whenever we're doing that. Follow at the Surly Nerd and Facebook to find out when we're doing live streaming stuff. I'm going to be doing more live streaming things because I feel like you should watch me play Destiny. Or make art, because that's really all I live stream.
Just do it.
So why the fuck not? Yeah, info at theSolarNerd.com's email address, SolarNerd.com's website. Donate on where it says donate on all the places, please. I'm really burpy right now for some reason.
Good job.
I've been having a heartburn over the past few days.
It's fantastic
very irritating.
that we go into a podcast when you're feeling burpy.
You know what? You're the one who told me, say a bunch of shit while you're feeling burpy.
All right, that's everything we have for the show today. But again, we're coming back in just a couple days to cover all things E3 related, so please stick with us for that. Until next time, adventures. For Tony, this is James.
For James, this is Tony.
Everyone, good night.
And good game.
Thank you guys for sticking with us. I know so many people were angry that we didn't do E3 today. We had other news that needed to be talked about.
Yeah, no, and we'd already decided 2 weeks ago that we were going to do a Wednesday E3 show.
Yeah.
They were like, we knew that we were going to do it just separately as a separate thing because it's not like it's fucking hard to do is make a separate show.
I know we had we actually had a request today being like, I really wish that you guys could do like live reaction to things going on at E3.
Yeah.
Which I would love to do like next year. I just didn't take vacation time for it.
While we were watching the Bethesda thing, I thought about live tweeting along with it. But there's only so many times I can send poop emojis on Twitter before it just becomes repetitive.
Right. So, yeah. That's exactly it, Zax. I wanted to dedicate an entire episode to E3, but there was so much other geek news that came out this week. I wanted to go ahead and just give everybody double the episodes this week. That way we could talk about the things going on with DC Universe, the things going on with Swamp Thing, talk about this Destiny.
Yeah, no, because the
news.
Swamp Thing, like I've been waiting for episode 3 to come out so I could watch 3 episodes in a row because y'all wouldn't show the fuck about how good the first one was.
Oh my God,
And then
so good.
I didn't even get to the second one, and I was like, I'm waiting on the second one, and then I'm waiting on the third one. I'm gonna have fun. The show's gonna be great. And they're like, and it's canceled. I'm like, well, fuck you. Now I'm just not happy anymore.
Right.
I was looking forward to this thing, and it just like kicked me in the nuts before even.
So yes, Wednesday, 7 CST, E3 blowout. We're gonna get drunk and rowdy. We're gonna be talking about a lot of things. Spoiler: Bethesda's show sucked. In fact, most
If
of you,
anybody didn't see that Bethesda didn't watch the Bethesda that thinks it was good, you're a fucking idiot.
no, they were probably just the ones that they were
Or
excited.
you're
they
a
were
fanboy
No,
or
they were
something.
excited for the things that actually were made by other people that weren't Bethesda.
We'll get to that. I wasn't going to bring up that point because that's for the show point. That's where we're smarter than
we're
they
giving
are.
them spoilers right now. I apologize for that. Seriously, guys, thank you for sticking with us. Thanks for the subscriptions and the follows that we
and all
got
that
today.
stuff. Yeah,
we
thank
really do
you.
appreciate it.
Like, we're cutting this real early, normally around for another hour.
I know.
So it's like only 8:30, but we're supposed to be watching Square Enix now,
Yeah.
which means we have to wait till it ends so we can watch the recording of the Square Enix one.
I'll probably just like watch in the kitchen while I make dinner or something. But anyways, thank you guys. We'll see you hopefully on Wednesday. We really would
Yeah, join us
appreciate
on
you.
Wednesday. I'm trying working on a schedule for live streaming stuff. So
Oh God, EA was so bad though.
honestly, EA has to be worse because it was 3 hours long and they showed 4 games and it was awful.
And they didn't talk about Anthem at all.
Yeah.
Like they interviewed the Anthem guy for like 5 minutes. I don't know, man. Like EA had like some cool stuff. But
Yeah, it had some cool stuff. You were talking about how they were doing the new stuff for
I am not
the football game.
Right, I'm not a football person, but I thought the idea of them updating player stats in real time is so fucking cool to me. Like,
No, that is really cool for a game that I can't give a fuck
right.
about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a
like
football
that's
person.
an awesome idea for people who like that.
Exactly. But I mean, I was able to understand what they were doing with the technology and appreciate it for people that would be into Madden. I'm like, that's so cool for like my little brother who plays Madden.
Yeah, it's great
Right.
for him. It's great for anybody who plays the fantasy footballs. It's just a simulator at that point.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's fucking great for them.
So I was actually
but
surprised.
like I have nothing. I have no interest.
I will say though, you say you're a Battlefield player, Julius, and I didn't realize because I'm not a Battlefield player. I played Call of Duty back in the day, but I hadn't played any of the modern Battlefield games. I didn't realize that those Battlefield games were such a live service program. I thought they just put out Battlefield 5 and a couple map packs and called it a day the way that Call of Duty does.
Five's been doing a bunch of weird.
Yeah,
shit.
I didn't realize like Battlefield's an ever like, growing and expanding and changing game.
I know Zex plays it, and when I talk to him in chat, it's constantly like this. They made changes this map and this weapon and this.
I didn't realize
constantly
that.
doing these updates, and there's events that keep going on. It's like expanded past the Call of Duty model.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. I mean, that's what I love to hear, especially when, you know, this is the same group of people that put together such a shitstorm of like Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Zex, just go back, just play some fucking Destiny. It's in a great place. It's $40 and you get all the shit.
Once the free
Just
version
saying.
comes out, I'm going to jump in and play some Destiny, honestly. And you know, that almost answers my own question that I had on the podcast is, you know, are the numbers
Like,
going to grow?
Honestly, that's what I should have said is like, are you interested in anything that they've been putting out? And you go, yeah, then there you fucking go.
I mean, it's going to be out for free. I can play entire year.
Yeah, no,
one for free.
you can do the first year for free and go, oh, that was a really fun story. Oh, the one thing I also didn't mention, they're bringing back the literally first mission from Destiny 1.
Okay.
For new players, for people just coming in,
Right.
the first
The
thing
wake
you
up
do,
Guardian scene?
yeah, you wake up, you go, here's your fucking gun, go kill aliens.
Right.
Like they're bringing that
That's
back.
cool.
So
I like
and
that.
then you fly to the tower, and then oh shit, everything's going fucking crazy. And you have to do Red War stuff and everything else, and
exciting.
they're actually curating the story differently so that you don't have to play the entire storyline. You
Right.
don't have to power level the traditional way. You can go. You can kind of play this modified story element that they're creating of a kind of a taster for everything. You get to go to every planet sooner and explore more of the stories.
It cuts the fat out. Unless
Yeah,
you,
it cuts the fat out and lets you get to a higher level. And then whenever you're there, when you can go back and just play the story if you want.
Right.
But they've also said that once you're done doing that little thing, you can go, I want to buy this. This was fun. I want to buy this season, like the current season that we're in. and you just go purchase this season, and then you're immediately playing that content. You're doing that high level reward system. You're going and grinding for the high level shit, and that is fucking cool. You can't do that in WoW. You can't be like, well, I just want this one expansion. I only want to come. I guess people kind of do that. You can only
fun. We're on Facebook Live now, and now it pushes out little notifications that we're.
Oh, really?
Streaming. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I don't know. I always leave my phone in my room when
fun.
we're recording.
I know. I usually do too, but I just saw like a little push notification that like the Surly Nerd is live. I'm like, oh, that's adorable. We get those now. So I'm wrapped up for the show. I've got some things that I've got to do. Again, Wednesday, 7 CST on the dot. E3 episode. We're going all out. It's going to be crazy. We're going to be very angry about a lot of things, and I'm going to talk way longer than I should about Phantasy Star Online because, god damn it,
I'm going to set a timer for like 5 minutes, and that's all you're going to get.
That's all I'm going to get.
That's all you can get is 5 minutes. Because at least I know at least one person in chat has played Destiny. I know of no one that's played Phantasy Star Online outside of you in the last 20 years.
I did just reinstall Phantasy Star Online on my work PC. There's a fan. There's a fan server that exists, and I installed it.
Oh god!
Before the announcement, even it was like last week. I was like, "Fuck, dude! Like I miss Phantasy Star Online. Like I'm installing my work computer. Like when I've got some downtime." And then today, it was like, "All right, cool. Like Phantasy Star Online 2." I was like, "Oh man."
I get that people were fans of that, but like, no, just no.
It's a fantastic game.
It was not a complicated game or a great
Diablo.
game.
It's Diablo. It's space Diablo.
I can't wait till we have to talk about Minecraft. Because
literally
holy fuck,
space- it's
Minecraft
literally space
Diablo
Diablo.
looks so fucking good.
Destiny's just space Diablo. It's the same thing Phantasy Star is, just space Diablo.
This is your 13 Ghosts. Everything's Diablo to you. Everything's Diablo. I'm actively shooting aliens in the face with a gun.
It was a looter shooter before there was even a term for that.
Yes, they both have the looter, but one's a first person shooter, one's an over the 3.5 angle, just beat him up.
Right. Like this was behind the shoulder with a lightsaber and a rifle, all right? Like that's
So it's Anthem before Anthem, but you know,
good.
better.
Yeah, PSO.
Okay.
Right. In fact, Anthem could learn a lot from PSO. That's all I'm saying. Rangers are the best class.
I mean, it's going to be interesting whenever Phantasy Star Online 2 comes out, and we'll have triple the numbers of Anthem's current player base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm already talking to people on Twitter about it. I've been talking to a couple people from the Vanguard being like, hey, we're going to squat up on Phantasy Star as soon as it comes out, right? Let's do it.
I like that. I like that because of BlizzCon, they're all fucking Destiny players now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love that everybody's like, well, we got it for free. And now they've bought everything.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're into the story and shit. And I'm like, you motherfuckers.
You're about to roll up in on them once the cross save
I already have a PC character, but it doesn't have any of my shit.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're going to roll up on them.
Nothing good.
Once
I have
cross
no
save hits, you're going to be like,
once
all right.
cross save, be like, guys, when I said I had everything, I meant I had everything.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and head out and make some dinner. Thank you guys for sticking with us again. Wednesday, 7 CST. Please join us for our E3 episode.
I'll see y'all in a couple days or tomorrow. I don't know when I see you.